So having a personal brand is like having a cheat code to business, to life, to having communities, having events, having a fan following, all of it, having a good personal brand. Okay, so for example, The Rock. Now he's a celebrity and he has an amazing, powerful presence and absolutely amazing personal brand. He started Terramana, a tequila company, and it blew up overnight. Something similar happened to Conor McGregor's Proper 12, right? He has his whiskey brand and it blew up overnight. Kylie Jenner, Kim Kardashian, all of these are celebrity level players. But let's leave the celebrities aside. Here's what we'll be doing in this video. We'll be analyzing a lot of other personal brands that have been built through social media. These are not celebrities, right? These are not people that come in movies, but they have leveraged the power of social media, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, right? Primarily YouTube and Instagram. And how have they created their personal brands using social media? And we'll be talking about that. So let's move forward. Some well-known people that have really good personal brands that come to my mind are, let's say, Alex Hormozy, there's Dan Martell, Brian Johnson. So these are some internationally well-known personal brands, right? So these are international. Okay, now these are also some Indian people that have completely used social media to build their personal brands. Perfect. So we have international and we have Indian. We'll be understanding what is that one thing that all of these stand for. So as soon as you read their word, what is that one thing that comes to your mind? One sentence to describe what they do, right? If you whatever comes to my mind, I'll write that. And then what are these people's content buckets? What did they used to do and what are they doing now in terms of content, so that we can get a fair idea of, let's say, if you have a broad vision in your mind when it comes to your personal brand, how can you begin, what niche can you select, based on whatever niche do you want to progress in. So we'll be talking about all of that. Okay, so let's talk about Alex Hormozy first and foremost. Okay, now Alex is one word that comes to our mind is, you could say, business, right? He talks about 100 million offers, 100 million leads, a lot of other things as well. So one thing that categorizes, that would, let's say, summarize what does Alex do, is he helps you grow your business. So business growth. Now let's talk about one sentence. If I were to summarize in one sentence what Alex does, helps, he's a master of offer creation, lead generation, and also he sets a massive example, a really good example of incredible work ethic. I mean, hats off to Alex. And if I were to talk about content buckets, his content buckets: offers, business growth, lead gen, success mindset, sales, and yeah, that's about it. So that is Alex Hormozy. Now, initially, before, he also had his niche as fitness and growing fitness businesses or gyms. Okay, so this is Alex Hormozy, right? One word, business growth. That's Alex. Dan Martell. So one word for him: time, right? He is an expert when it comes to understanding how you can make the most out of your time in terms of business, life, workout, everything, right? So one sentence, correct, would be: conquer your time and build your dream life. Yeah, that is what he essentially talks about. Okay, and he too has an incredible work ethic. Some content buckets that he talks about. So obviously he talks about money too. He talks about scaling your business. Okay, he talks about fitness as well, like Alex, correct, success mindset. He directly, as far as I know, he directly started creating content like this, wherein he talks about money, scaling your business, fitness, success mindset, all of it. So before, I don't think it's applicable in this case. That's Dan Martell. Then let's talk about Brian Johnson. Okay, so one word to describe, one word that comes to our mind is health and longevity. Don't die. That is what he stands for. That is what his entire mantra is. Do not die. Live forever. Okay, right? And one sentence, health is all he talks about. How to stop aging. Right before, he did not create a personal brand. As soon as he started with this. Okay, he started with don't die. He started with longevity, how to live forever. So that's Brian Johnson. Okay, now let's talk about Dan Coe. Right now, one word that comes to my mind when it comes to Dan Coe is writing. Be an excellent writer. Have amazing thought processes. Right. So that is Dan Coe. One sentence is don't be conventional. Correct. Don't be conventional. And something else that comes to my mind when I see Dan Coe is if you do what everyone else does, you get what everyone else gets. It's as simple as that. Okay, because if you observe the way he started, everybody else is using their face and all of that. He's like, okay, you know what, ditch that. I'm going to create my own content in a way that nobody else is doing. And he doubled down on that graphics thing, on you could say keyframe editing, wherein he has this edits wherein it's not his face, it's just a black screen with white simple animations while he's speaking. So using that, he was just an excellent writer. Using that, he made these animations and he scaled up. So that's something. And before that, he did a lot of things. He designed websites. I'm not, but he designed, but he did not create a personal brand out of it. So let's not talk about that. That's Dan Coe. Matt Gray. One word: systems. One word that comes to mind is systems. He is the systems guy. If you want to know how can you set up systems in your business, he's the one you reach out to. And sentence is leverage systems to basically automate stuff, save time, and enjoy life. Right? He has this concept called the soul trip, wherein you go on vacations, you go on soul trips to actually rejuvenate yourself, fuel your creative process. And creativity is also something that he talks about. Correct. And what are his content buckets? Actually, in my opinion, his content bucket is simple. He just talks about systems, as far as I know. Or maybe I have lost, I am, and I'm not paying as much attention to him. Correct. Even Dan Martell's, so Dan Martell, in terms of content buckets, right? He also talks about business, personal branding, writing, creating, design thinking. Some things, these are some things that come to my mind when Dan Coe pops up in my head. Okay. Now let's talk about Ali Abdal. Right? So you know what? I'll not be talking about, okay, let's Ali Abdal, Iman Gaji. Okay, let's do these two because these two are pretty. Ali. No disrespect to Ali. Ali is amazing, right? But it's just that I feel like I'm saying too much, and I don't need to go in depth as much in all of these. So that's why I'm just rushing through it. So one word that comes to my mind is business at a young age. I mean, not one word, but one sentence, right? So he's very young, and yet he sets a very strong benchmark that you can be rich while being young. So business at a young age, correct? One. So that's one word would be business, and one sentence would be business at a young age. So you don't need to be old to be rich. Get rich while you're young. Correct. So that's something that he talks about. He endorses a lot. And man, the guy has done a lot of stuff at a very young age. So get rich while you're young. He also talks about, let's say, fitness. Some of his other content buckets would be content. He used to talk about agency. Now he's moved towards the SaaS model. And apart from that, what else does he talk about? What else does he talk about? He also talks about, life, fitness, business, all of it. And before that, what he used to do is that he did document a lot of his life. So documented a lot of his life, and now he is at a very good stage. He's doing really great stuff. Now let's talk about Andrew freaking Tate. Okay, now one word for Andrew. Man, I'll be honest, the word that comes to, I don't want to label him. I respect him. So work super hard. Work ethic. I mean, sure, he's rich, but work hard, party, right? One sentence is dominate everything. So he's a kickboxer. He's massively well known in the business world too. He has amazing connections. He's very articulate. He's very influential. So that's Andrew freaking Tate, right? Content buckets, man. He just does life, man. He talks about masculinity. Correct. He also talk about money. He talks about women and a lot of other things as well. That's Andrew Tate. Okay. Now these are some internationally known folks. Now let's talk about some Indian folks. Now Ranveer Alabadia. He's a popular name right now, man. Okay. I mean, he's infamous, but take it. Okay, one word that used to come: spirituality. Right? Initially it was fitness, now it's spirituality. One sentence that comes to my mind is stay true to God and make your parents proud. I mean, that's something that he endorses a lot. Make your parents proud. That's one sentence that come to my mind. One sentence that comes to my mind. Stay true to God and make your parents proud. Content buckets. Spirituality, longevity, right? Sometimes he talks about, no, he doesn't talk about money as much right now. Content creation, sure, he talks about that. What else? He's not talking about AI as much. These are a few things that he talks about. He also talks about a lot of, you could say, voodoo. Would I call it voodoo or would I call it something else? Occult. Occult sciences or pseudosciences is something that he talks about a lot. So, that's something. And before, initially, he used to talk about fitness, and he grew from that fitness niche, and then he dived deep into this world. Okay, so that's something. Then we have Raj Shamani. One word: business, no doubt at all. It's crystal clear. He's crystallized it extremely well. His entire podcast is about business, so he does that part well. One sentence would be to build your dream, not build your dream life, but figure out how to grow and live a better life. Okay, content buckets. What are some of his content buckets? Talks about longevity to people. Primarily, it's business. Okay, holistically business. He uses some terms as well and सब कुछ करता है. So ठीक है. That's Raj. Okay. So apart from that, what does Prakhar Gupta do? Okay, I'm gonna be sorting these out. So Vivek Bindra, Flying Beast को हटा देते हैं. Okay, let's Sandeep Maheshwari. Now, what kind of content does he create? Okay, so one word: motivation. Simple. Okay, Sandeep Maheshwari motivates you to build your dream life. He talks a lot of hope, and that's one word. आप अपनी जिंदगी जी सकते हो जैसे आपको जीनी हो. One sentence for Sandeep Maheshwari. He talks about spirituality too. So how to grow in life, मोटा मोटा यही बात करते हैं संदीप जी. एंड कंटेंट buckets इनके लिए होंगे. Spirituality is also something that he talks about. Apart from spirituality, he also talks about business, right? उन्होंने students के साथ भी काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें share की है. So students, growth for students, करियर, इन सारी चीज़ों के बारे में ये लोग बात करते हैं. So from what I can look at all of this and understand is, in order to build your personal brand, okay, so how to build your personal brand after looking at all of this. So first and foremost, start out broad. Okay, mota mota, what are some of the things that you want to talk about? And think about right now as well, and think about future as well. For example, now if I were to talk about myself, how to build your personal brand, step one would be, first and foremost, figure out your path. Now, what that basically means is that, what do you want to start with, and what do you want to evolve into. For example, now what I want to do is that I do want to label myself as someone that's in, let's say, the business realm or in the life realm. For example, just like Tony Robbins, he talks about a lot of different concepts. Dan Martell, primarily his one step solution, or his one word would be, we've talked about this. It is time, right? Conquer your time. But then he also talks about a lot of other things. Right now, what is the thing that I can help people the most with in terms of growth in their career, in their life? Well, communication. Okay, how do you communicate in a way that's powerful, that's effective, that's strong, right? Communication ho gaya, public speaking ho gaya. Okay, so right now, and then after that would be post. So eventually I want to go into business, building your dream life, that area. Okay, so that's something, right? What are my content buckets? What are the different things that I want to talk about? I want to talk about fitness. I want to talk about clarity, correct? Fitness, clarity, work ethic, fashion, purpose, productivity, charisma, public speaking. So these are my content buckets. So what is that one word that I want to be known for? Currently, it can change later. Or one word, not that I want to be known for, that I am exceptionally good at, and it's easy for me to be known through that. For example, if I were to talk about myself, I want to be known as as I go forward, I want to be known as someone that is really good at scaling things up, content creation. Business would be that one thing that I want to be known for. But currently would be communication, right? Or public speaking. So this is the easiest for me at the moment. Later on, I can most definitely pivot into other things. For example, I can pivot to, and I plan to pivot to business. So that's what I plan to do. So I have my content bucket set. I have this thing set as well. So communication, public speaking. So what I should do is plan first 10, first 100,000 subscribers, right, should come through what? The first 100,000 subscribers should come through communication or public speaking. I mean, I still talk about other stuff, but this is something that I specialize in. Once I go to that, then 100,000 to 1 million, right? This is when I start broadening my content and I go to life, business, and other things. So eventually, this is how it's supposed to be. First 100,000 subscribers, communication, public speaking, specializing in all of this for entrepreneurs and business owners, and then from there to the next million, life, business, other things. So that's what I want to do, and yeah, that's what my thought process is. So I have it clearly written down in front of me, and this is how you're supposed to do it too, right? For example, think about what is that one thing that you can be known for now. Okay, for example, even right now, my personality, because of my personality, I was called to this event, and I'm getting paid to speak at a college. Okay, so that's because of my personality. So they've told me, "Okay, please come up and please share with the students on how can they become better communicators, better speakers, how can they speak in a way that's more polished, more refined, how can they keep themselves more groomed, all of that." Okay, so that's all because of my personality. Okay, so similarly, what can you be already known for? Let's say if someone were to call you to a college and ask you to give a speech, what would be a topic that they would most likely ask you to speak upon? Think about that. Okay, so that is one thing that you want to currently be known for, and spread that out as much as possible. Once you do that, then you move to the next thing. How do you want to position yourself later? For example, after you do that, you want to position yourself in terms of, let's say, making more money. Then do that, correct? And how you use that skill to make money, because essentially you need one skill to make you. First and foremost, if you're directly talking about making money without making enough money, man, you're scamming, correct? Because you haven't done it yourself. So similarly, for example, right now I cannot coach anyone along the lines of, let's say, how can you make your first crore within 1 year, because I haven't made my first crore yet in 1 year, correct? So for example, right now I'm at a point where I'm making close to 1 lakh per month. Okay, so that's not enough to talk about money. Can I help other people get to a point where they can make 1 lakh per month? Yes, right? But should I be now positioning myself as a finance influencer? Absolutely not. Okay, so first I'll have to be an expert of sorts in that thing. For example, once I get to a point where I'm making close to 10 lakhs per month, then I can safely say that I'm in a good position financially, and I can talk about the finance related stuff. Okay, so that's how it should be. So what are you an expert of currently? Once you gain mastery at that, then you move on to the next thing. And once you have shared with people that, okay, you know what, I've done this, then once you make enough money through that, then you can position yourself as a business, as a spiritual, or as whatever bigger niche you want to position yourself in. So basically there are different levels to this. For example, the first one, right, the bottommost, is unique value zone. Okay, so this is a niche within a niche. For example, in communication, I talk about public speaking, that too specifically for business owners and business leaders. So public speaking for business leaders. This is the bottommost. This is what I specialize in. Now, what happens after that? After I master this thing, that okay, public speaking for business leaders, then I go to the niche, which is above that, right? So my niche, you could say, could be public speaking or communication, right? And what is my industry? My industry is self improvement and education. Ta-da! There you have it. Okay. So similarly, start with level one. What is your micro niche? Then what is your niche? Then what is your industry? And then once you keep on spreading, right, then you can hop onto other areas. But start with one, establish yourself as an authority in one, and then keep on progressing and keep on becoming better. All right, so that's all from my end. If you enjoyed it, do not forget to hit the subscribe button. My name is Mohit Jagwani, and as you already know, I specialize in helping business leaders, founders, CXOs. I help them become better public speakers. But apart from that, I'm a life coach, and my goal with this channel is to help you build a better life through fitness, finance, communication, confidence, and a lot of other things. So do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Let me know down in the comment section what you thought of this video. And that's all from my end. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.